Please put your hands together and give Jim a warm Laguna Woods welcome.
Thank you very much. I know you were debating on whether to come tonight, so I appreciate it that you came. Sorry. I know it's early in the evening. Now, when I was about 6 years old, my mother took my older brother and me to see a new movie that had just come out. That movie, as you might guess, was called The Sound of Music. And as I sat there in that theater, surrounded by that big screen and those wonderful scores, we come flying in over the Alps, I thought to myself, boy, when I grow up, I want to go make movies in the Alps. Well, it took me a little while, but I eventually got there. And my older brother Eric and I went off to explore 8 countries in the heart of Europe to bring back the film that you're going to see here tonight. Now, during that time, we never rented a car. We did the entire trip on trains, buses, boats, and quite a bit on foot. We hiking about 5 to 7 miles every day, all while carrying 30-pound backpacks. Now, the first place that we went to was a place called Neuschwanstein Castle, which some of you may recognize as perhaps the most famous castle in the world. It is, of course, the one that Walt Disney used as his model for the castle up the road at Disneyland. We got there really early. We climbed up that long, steep hill. We came around the corner and out onto the Marienbrook Bridge, and there it was, half covered by scaffolding. I can't tell you how thrilled I was to have come all that way and waited all that time to see that icon of the Bavarian Alps. Well, we were disappointed, but we climbed every mountain and we got the shots we needed. So we went on to our next destination, a place called Linderhof Castle, just down the road away. It's another one of Crazy King Ludwig's castles. We got off the bus, we walked up the hill, we came around the corner, and there it was, completely covered by scaffolding. And a tent, you couldn't see one single exterior brick on the whole entire building. I said to my brother, I said, now if the Matterhorn is covered by scaffolding, I'm going home. Well, the Matterhorn wasn't covered by scaffolding. It was covered by clouds. We waited 5 days for the Matterhorn to come out of the clouds, and it finally did, and it makes a wonderful appearance at the beginning of part 2 of today's film. It rained, I think, every single day we were in the Alps. But, now the great thing about the rain is that, number one, it would usually wait until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon to rain, which left me the whole morning to go shooting, which now, if any of you are photographers, you know that morning light is often the best light to go filming in anyway. And the second thing was that it would usually clear the sky of all that haze that you often get in Central Europe during the summertime. So you will see this wonderful, clear light in the film today. Now we're going to start off in the small country of Monaco. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Monaco, Alps, really, Jim? Check a book. But trust me, it's really where the Alps come out of the sea. Then we're going to go inland to the province of Provence. Then we're going to hop over to the Italian Lake Country, and then on over to the Dolomites before crossing the Brenner Pass to the tiny country of Liechtenstein. And then we're going to finish up the first half of today's film in central Switzerland near the Jungfrau region at a place called the Top of Europe. So if you're ready, strap on your hiking boots and grab hold of the rope and let's go climb the Alps of Europe. Thank you very much. Let's have lights. From out of the Mediterranean Sea, they rise to 15,771 feet. They are a range of superlative heights, a mountain realm unlike any other. To explore some of the most breathtaking and awe-inspiring landscapes in the world, we'll climb the Alps of Europe. The Alps stretch from the Mediterranean Riviera nearly all the way to Vienna, Austria. They cover 80,000 square miles in the heart of Europe and occupy parts of 8 countries. The ramparts and passageways of the citadel are open for exploration. Its heights are surmounted by a narrow scenic causeway, while its depths include an underground stairway dug in 1841, leading all the way down to the city's northern gate, about a quarter of a mile down those steps. Heavily damaged by Allied bombing late in World War II, the Gothic vaults of the Citadel's chapel, Our Lady of the Castle, have been reconstructed now to shelter a bookshop and art gallery. Here you'll find an assortment of prints featuring the citadel and the town below. Providing a peek at Provence, an artisan's fair occupies the square here today, selling fine wines and olive oils, fresh olives, mushrooms and garlic, candied nuts and breads, homemade jams, jellies, marmalades, and sweet honey, alongside ceramics, paintings, and homemade crafts. Surrounding shops offer quiches and crepes, and the local specialty, a fresh strawberry glazed tourte. Boulangeries here seem to compete with each other to see who can bake the finest, most delicious pastries and sweets. They are artisans and call themselves as such. Once a year, the daily chime of church bells gives way to the rattle of cattle bells as small herds are driven upslope towards summer pastures. Now, why do these cows carry bells? Well, I'm told it's because their horns don't work. Okay. Climbing until they run out of roads, farmers push their cattle up narrow country lanes. Today, they'll pass beyond the small village of Meulen, with its ancient Swiss chalets. This place may be called the top of Europe, but it is not its highest point. We'll visit the highest point in Western Europe, along with many more highlights of the Alps, when we return after this brief intermission. Thank you very much. When you're making a film, it takes, I often get the question, how long does it take you to really make a film like this? It takes about 3 years, from the time you start planning it till the time you start researching what you're going to write and start planning the trip itself and go shoot the thing. By the way, this film was shot from May through July, so it was 2 months in the Alps. And then you bring back in and you do all your editing and you get it ready to show. It takes about a 3-year time period for me. Some people can do it a lot faster, I can't. But one of the great challenges of doing a film like this is the music, soundtrack. Now, normally what we do as filmmakers is we go to a music library and we listen to hundreds of hours of different musical pieces. But the problem with all of that is that they're usually not written by the same person. So it's hard to get a cohesive kind of soundtrack together to put together for your film. Now, one of my things on my bucket list to do, ever since I was a little kid, and I used to annoy my parents with a little Magnus chord organ that I used to play all the time, was to write my own score for a film. Well, for this film, I saw this wonderful little clip that you'll see coming up at the very first part of the second half. It's called, the sequence is called The Matterhorn and the Marmot Fight. Now, the marmots are like little groundhogs that you're going to see. And they were a little comical clip in here, and I thought, well, if I can write the music for this little clip, then I can figure I can write the music for the whole rest of the film. Well, I worked on the little clip, and that was fun, and I had a whole bunch of fun doing it. And then I got to the rest of the film. I ended up writing 40 minutes worth of original music. Now, I won't take credit for any of the classical pieces that you hear, or any of the street music, obviously, I had nothing to do with. You're stuck with that. But I did end up writing about 40 minutes worth of original music for this film, including this piece that you're going to hear as part of the Matterhorn sequence. Now, from the Matterhorn, we're going to hop over to the high peaks of the Austrian Alps before we slide down into Salzburg, and you'll see what I mean by that in a few minutes. From Salzburg, we're going to a very special place. Now, some people ask me, now, where is your favorite place in all of the Alps? Well, as you can imagine, that's a tough thing because there are so many great places in the Alps to visit. But if you had to pin me down and make me admit one place that I loved the most, was Slovenia. Anyone here ever been to Slovenia? Good. Usually when I ask that question, I get maybe one or two. People are starting to discover it. It's a wonderful, beautiful place here in the Julian Alps. So that's coming up as a treat in the second half. And then we're going to finish up today's film at the highest Alp, Mont Blanc in France. So if you're ready, strap on those hiking boots and grab hold of the rope, and let's go climb the Alps of Europe. Thank you very much. Storm clouds often obscure this most famous mountain. A thing this tall and massive creates its own weather. Its sharp peak tears a rip in the blue fabric of the sky, and cloudy pillow stuffing spills out. The Matterhorn is the third highest of the Alps, but its distinctive dramatic shape is what makes it perhaps everyone's favorite Alp. Trails branch out in all directions below the mountain, offering constantly changing views of one of the most famous skylines in the world. Signposts point you toward your destination, and if you knew where you were going, you'd know how to pronounce Murmeltierbeerwachtenspusten. I really have no idea. That's a wild guess. Now, even if you don't know where you're going, getting there is easy. Many trails are fairly flat, well suited for an easy stroll. Our ride is over much too soon, and we return back to the station. Here, beneath the summit of the highest Alp, adventurers come and go across the Vallée Blanche, struggling under the weight of packs. Enduring the scarcity of air at this altitude, their lungs thirsting for oxygen. Climbers thread themselves through countless needle and dome-shaped summits. Trekkers begin their final ascent of Mont Blanc, a 10-hour trip. They reach for one of the most magnificent peaks on the continent. At 15,771 feet, Mont Blanc is the top of Western Europe, a land among the clouds and the peak of our journey to the Alps. It's been a pleasure traveling with you. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.
I was born nearby there.
Can you play it on the fiddle, right? You should be able to, yeah.